obviously.
As you have ongoing exposure to people with a strong narcissistic bent, one of the themes that's part of their life that is very prominent is going to keep coming back at you over and over, and that
77
is
quintillion.
delusional
777 quadrillion, 777 trillion, 777 billion, 777 billion, 777,000, 777.
In fact, one of the defining features of narcissism is the tendency to live with their own false reality. They want you to think of them as being somebody that they're actually not. They want to present themselves as more than what they really are. But one of the things that tends to come along with this delusional thinking and their deluding of you is they actually have already deluded themselves about who they are. They can't be honest with themselves, therefore they're completely unable to be honest with you. So today I want to talk about 7 evidences of a narcissist's delusional thinking, and it's important for you to be on to that so that you can learn how to respond wisely. Many times people that are exposed to their delusions get caught up in trying to explain to that narcissist why they're wrong, and before you know it, they wind up getting caught in that person's snares, and we don't need to do that. So let me go through these 7 evidences with you, and then let's see if we can figure out how we're going to respond. One of the first things that's evidence of a narcissist's delusional thinking is their ability to rationalize their improprieties with you, especially regarding their controlling nature. For example, if you were to confront a narcissist and say, you know, this controlling stuff that you're doing is not working well, or I really don't like the fact that you have to shut me down so much because you always have to have the final word, then they can rationalize and say, I'm not being controlling. I just have some things that I want to say, or I'm a very strong leader, or I'm being helpful, or I'm trying to protect you from some of the things out there that you just don't want to have to deal with. And even as they're being micromanaging, or maybe even Machiavellian in the way that they do things, by that I mean micromanaging and doing it with a real harshness, they've got the whole thing rationalized, saying, no, this is good. I'm being a good person by acting the way that I do toward you. You just don't appreciate it. Or number 2, in terms of indicators of their delusional thinking, and that is they will constantly deflect any kind of problem between you and them back onto
you go 1 out of 7, you don't even know what he's saying.
Incapable of admitting anything.
Your ADHD brain cannot even follow
like,
all this yapping,
that's impossible
all this fucking poop salad.
Or your stupidity is what keeps us from moving forward.
You're literally just saying 1 out of 7.
I just can't seem to get any kind of traction with you because you won't listen. They have a complete inability to have a fair and adult exchange about things that are different between yourself and them. That's delusional. Or a third indicator of their delusion.
This guy is the most delusional
guy I have a major need to appear certain.
Stereotyping all the narcissists.
How realistic is it for an individual to say, well, I have life completely figured out. I'm certain about anything and everything. Just ask me, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there are some things that we can feel certain about or we can have strong opinions about, but the narcissistic need for certainty is quite pathological. You know, the way I look at it is not everything in life fits nice and neatly into its own little slot or its own groove. Life is not black and white in the same.
Oh, but you're certain about that. That doesn't make you a narcissist. This guy is so full of fucking shit, man. Holy fuck. My god. And no other people. Alright.
one thing we can say about narcissists with a great deal of confidence, and that is they really like to think of themselves as being quite special. Now, I hate to break it to these individuals, but my response to that sense of their specialness is, well, I don't think you're quite as special and unique as you really think that you are. These individuals like to think of themselves as being a little extra gifted, or they see things
literally top 1%. Statistics don't lie, bro.
in ways that nobody else does, and so that's
Literally.
why they don't have to blend with everyone else, but they can kind of call the shots.
Top 1% IQ.
I'm unique, I'm different, I'm better. One of the things that we know about narcissism is it's a pattern. And it's on a spectrum. Some people have fewer ingredients inside this pattern. Some have quite a bit of it, and it's very persistent. But it's part of a pattern. And narcissists can be highly predictable. Now, I know
This guy's
they
just
don't like
lying.
to think of that
He's just
because,
lying.
again, they like to think of themselves as being quite unique. But they're highly
Top 1%
predictable
is
in the
pretty
way that they
unique, I would
respond to
say.
life. And it's
What is unique then, if not the top
recognize
1%?
Their predictability, because it
Top
has so many
0.1%?
implications about
I don't
your
know.
responses to the way that they treat you. Now, what I'd like to do here first is I'd like to talk with you about some of the very predictable elements inside the narcissistic pattern that people can have, and then I want to discuss what kind of ways that you might be able to respond to it, knowing what we're going to be talking about. So let's take a look at quite a number of things that are part of the predictable nature of narcissism. Now, one of the things that we'll say about narcissists is they genuinely believe that they know more than you do about whatever it may be. I've commonly said that two of the most dangerous words that people can speak are the words, I know. Now, I'm an educated person, and I encourage people to gain knowledge.
Does this guy think he knows more about narcissists than other people?
But when you get to the point where you say, I know, well, that can lead to the know-it-all attitude. People who have this sense of knowledge, like I know, they can become bossy.
Otherwise, he wouldn't be teaching people about it if he didn't think he knew more about it.
They can say things like, let me tell you how you ought to do things.
Right.
It can lead to a lot of criticism. Narcissists are very...
This guy has
predictable in that
decades
kind
of brain
mentality
rot.
that says, oh, I know. And right
And no
there,
one countering his
it's like,
stupid,
you're gonna be
nonsensical
difficult to deal
fucking
with, because
advice.
maybe there's some things in life that are nuanced that you don't want to have to come to terms with, but you know everything, so I guess we'll go with that, won't we? Or another thing that we can say that's highly predictable about narcissism is they have many different control tactics. Now, some of the times their tactics in control are the outward variety, like they can be overly directive, telling people what to do, or they can be more of a passive variety in the sense that they can be stubborn or just dismissive, things like that. But in their control, these individuals can be very insensitive. They can be sometimes very intimidating. They can be vindictive. They can be overwhelming in the way that they do life. They can just be non-cooperative.
So they can be everything and anything. That makes sense. Thank you for the help. Doctor, by the way.
As you surely know, one of the things that we can say about narcissism is that there's a direct correlation between a person's level of narcissism and their inability to manage anger successfully. I just want you to just stop and think, and I'm asking this, I already know the answer. Do narcissists have anger issues? And the answer is, oh yeah. Whether they call it frustration or annoyance or irritability, or whether they're being impatient or they're raging, or whether they're being passive aggressive or holding grudges, they've got plenty of anger issues, and it has many different ways of showing up. Another question we might ask is, well, do narcissists have a keen insight into the whys that are behind their experience of anger? And the answer is, well, we got a problem there. No, they don't have insight. They have lots of anger issues, but when it comes to them asking, well, what's going on when I feel angry? What am I trying to accomplish? And why do I have the feeling in the intensity that I do? What does that tell me about who I am? They don't have any kind of insight, nor do they even have the inclination where that question would even be on their radar screen. Or we might ask another question. when narcissists feel angry, are they inclined to take responsibility for the emotion? And in their mind, it's like, no, I don't need to, because I'm going to make you take responsibility for what I feel. And so they tend to be blame shifters, and they absolutely will not say, I've got a problem. What they'll say is, you have a problem. If we could just solve your problems, then I'd quit feeling angry. Or would you ask another question, and that is, when a narcissist is feeling angry, would you ever think that they would look at that as an opportunity for growth and stretching their mind? And again, it's like, no, I don't think I need to do that. I need to make you conform to me. But you see what I'm getting at? Narcissists have plenty of anger issues, but when it comes to them interpreting what it is, they don't have good interpretive skills. And many unfinished or unresolved issues lie on the inside of that narcissist then that come out in the midst of their anger. And because they have such poor awareness and insight and responsibility for their emotion, they have all of these hidden elements that are there. And it's going to be so important for you to know what's really going on in the mind and in the backdrop with that narcissist that keeps their anger in such a perpetual state of discomfort. What's really going on, really, honestly, when a narcissist is feeling angry? Now,
$50, this guy does not have a wife. She left long fucking ago, man. This guy is the yap maestro of the fucking yap maestros. Holy shit. Unending yapping about nothing. Nonsensical fucking yapping that applies to every human being ever. Ah my god, Dad. Oh my god. I'm about to